Welcome to the Koster Keunen webinar. Today, we're going to do a quick recap on everything that we launched at New York Suppliers Day. We're going to jump right in. Here's what the agenda for today's discussion is: a review on current trends, and then into a little science. We're going to focus on the basics: what it is, why use it, how to use it, and where to use it. We're going to end with an update on our sustainable beeswax program, and the presentation should be about 30 minutes with Q&A after. But first, since you didn't make it to New York, I wanted to bring a little New York to you. This is a picture of an art installation called The Vessel. It's a really cool building / art installation right around the corner from the Javits Center in New York. It's a climbable, interactive art building. It allows you to view the city in different heights and angles. It's supposed to be really cool. I wasn't able to climb it myself, but I hope that maybe we can all go next year. For those of you who are joining us that are not familiar with Koster Keunen as we are placed all around the world, I thought I'd take a time to give you a little introduction. Koster Keunen started in 1852 and has been supplying beeswax and other waxes around the world for 170 years. And as you can see here, we have 3 facilities. Our main manufacturing facility is in the United States in Watertown, Connecticut. Another manufacturing plant in the Netherlands, and then we have a facility in Togo, West Africa. The facilities in both the US and EU manufacture and run independent of one another. The facility in Togo is the anchor point for our sustainable beeswax program in the region. I'll touch on that towards the end of the webinar. And if you're curious, you can see all of our solar power on the roof of our facility. This is a picture of Watertown, Connecticut. We also have a lovely little solar field in the back. We're very eco-conscious, so it's part of who we are. Speaking of who we are, if you haven't seen us for a while, COVID, I wanted to take a minute and introduce our team. Many of us haven't been out on the road visiting people face to face. I figured a few pictures couldn't hurt, right? Help us all recognize each other when we're together again. Take a snap of or screen grab. If you don't have your main contact's email address, it's on the screen. And then as you go through the presentation, if you see anything that you want a sample of, or you want to talk about, you want a deeper dive into, reach out to us. I'll leave the slide up for another second so you can capture the information. Okay, now let's move on to trends. The 4 main trends that we're going to focus on are minimalism, waterless formulating, the unisex trend, and self-care. Let's talk about minimalism. When we think about minimalism, we think how hard it is to say. No, we think about the trend and how we look at it in 2 different perspectives. First, the reduction of raw materials in a formula to create simpler inky declarations. That's the first perspective of the minimalist trend. The second is the reduction by the consumer to use and consume less products. And you're seeing this kind of branch out in multiple facets. With the waterless trend, and we're going to go over this trend in more detail in a couple of slides. But overall, there are a lot of ways that you can expand this trend into markets, and they include the convenience factor, the eco-friendly perspective, concentrated formulas, and overall water conservation. Trend number 3 is unisex, and it focuses on inclusion, diversity, and products that can be used for everyone. Finally, self-care. Here, there's a focus on stress reduction, rest and relaxation, and the products that promote those healthy perspectives. There's also a turn towards more work-life balance and products that are customizable for each consumer. And here they are, just as we talked about: minimalism, waterless, unisex, and self-care. Now, our R&D team provides quarterly prototype formulas that focus on current trends, not just these, but as they continue through throughout the year. If you have any projects that you want help with, you want to talk about, you want to see what we've worked on, reach out to one of our team members and we can talk about what we see in these markets and maybe some ideas for you. Okay. Now we're going to go to wax ester chemistry. This is the Koster Wax series. Now you may be familiar with Koster waxes or one of them. So we're going to talk about a few specific ones. Something to keep in mind throughout the entire presentation. Koster Keunen launched 7 new formulas that highlight beeswax esters in skincare, hair care, and color cosmetics. But not only these formulas, but all of the formulas that we launched and we'll talk about today. They're all available for download on our website, and the link to that is at the bottom of the screen. Okay, so what is a wax ester? In short, it's a waxy solid. Esters are known in the chemistry world and have been used in personal care products for centuries. What makes the difference between liquid esters and a wax ester is the molecular weight of each chemistry. Now, the difference in the behavior of these ingredients are due to the chemical composition. If you're looking for more background on the chemistry, check out Boleyn Lemaine's paper from the March issue of Personal Care Global entitled Opacity, Viscosity, Structure, or Body. You can find the link in our April 21st blog post on our website. And here's the link to that there. Just remember that each of the Koster waxes are created for different performance in a formula. Today, we're going to review key Koster waxes from the study, what they do and where to use them. First things first, all of these products are all naturally derived, vegan, kosher, non-GMO, and considered natural and clean by the industry standards. If the product contains palm, 3 of them do, it's responsibly sourced palm, or RSPO. Okay, so let's get going. We're going to go from top to bottom. Koster Wax K48. Koster Wax K48 is an RSPO palm-derived product. The inking name is cetyl palmitate. And if you think of it as nothing else, I want you to think about it as adding opacity to a system. The main use you're going to use this for is emulsion systems. That means wash off or leave on. It doesn't matter. Koster Wax K24 gives bright white opacity. So when you put this in any kind of an emulsion, it's going to give you that opacity, that really deep marshmallow, creamy opacity. Now, it does not build viscosity. So you have full control of your system. You get to control the thickness and the opacity at the same time. Need a little bit of opacity? This is what you want to use. Koster Wax K56 also has some palm in it, and the inky name is cetyl sterine. So this is an RSPO palm, vegan, natural ingredient that gives you opacity and viscosity. Again, you're going to use this in emulsion systems, both wash off and leave on. But keep that in mind, right? So K48, no viscosity, just opacity, and this is both. So if you've got a system and you need it thicker and whiter, K56 is the way to go. Nice and simple. You can use this in other systems, anhydrous systems. It will add some increased hardness, but primarily we focus on the benefits of using this in emulsions. The next product we're going to talk about is Koster Wax K59. K59 is sterile sterine, and the main attribute is opacity and richness. Again, we're not saying viscosity, we're saying richness. The main use is emulsions. We do use this in anhydrous systems, and it can work in both sections, but overall we say emulsions is the best place for it. Koster Wax K59 gives opacity and increased body into emulsions without building significant viscosity. It helps increase the richness in the overall feel of the emulsion. So when a chemist is formulating with it, you can really dial in on the different attributes by choosing different Koster Wax products. We have done some formulas where we use Koster Wax K59 as a secondary structure in anhydrous systems. and it does a nice job. And we've got some formulas if you're interested. Okay, we're going to move on to Koster Wax K62. The inky name is sterile behenate, and this is a non-palm product. And you're mainly going to use this in anhydrous systems as your main structurant. You can use it as a secondary structurant if you need that middle melt point, because it has a similar melt point as beeswax, but it's vegan. You can also use it in emulsions. It can improve slip. It will reduce overall viscosity of the emulsion, and it doesn't give you any waxy emulsion feel. But primarily, you want to look at it in anhydrous systems for increased hardness, increased melt point, and primary or secondary structure. The last product we're going to talk about in the Koster series is Koster Wax K72. The inky name is behenyl behenate, and your main use is going to be anhydrous systems. The main attribute you're using this for is increased melt point. It will also give you structure. This is a natural and palm-free melt point increaser. The melt point is 72 degrees C, and it can help support your system by increasing the thermal stability and melt point of all anhydrous systems. We have used it as primary or secondary structurants, and we just always suggest that you choose the oils that are going to be best fit for the system that you're working with. So there, a nice quick overview of our most recent studied Koster waxes. Here they are, all 5 of them from top to bottom. Koster Wax K48, which gives you opacity. Koster Wax K56, which gives you opacity and viscosity. Koster Wax K59, that gives you opacity and richness. Koster Wax K62, which gives you structure. And Koster Wax K72, which will increase melt point and can also give you structure. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we launched a bunch of new formulas. And here are the 5 or 6 new formulas that we launched. You can download all of them at our website at kosterkeunen.com/KosterKit. And I made a nice little list of them for you here. So Koster Wax K48, the formula is double cream luxury cleanser, and the K48 gives this beautiful white marshmallow opacity to it. Koster Wax K56 is used in a hand lotion, which helps build viscosity and gives this white luxurious look. I mentioned K59 can be used in both emulsions and anhydrous systems pretty easily. And we're using it as a structurant, and it gives a nice structure to this pot eyeshadow that we've done in Very Peri, which is this year's Pantone color. Koster Wax K62 is used as a beeswax replacement in this vegan lip balm for plant lovers, and it's the primary structurant. And finally, we did a foundation stick, a clean beauty foundation stick using K72. And this K72 gives both thermal stability and acts as the primary structurant. All these formulas are available. So if at any point you would like to see a prototype of them, reach out to your salesperson and we'll get one for you. Okay, now we're going to move on to waterless formulating. Categories within the waterless trend really tie into the formulas that we've done for the trade show, and I'll talk about those in a minute. But because there's so much flexibility in this trend, here are the main factors that you could consider when you're thinking about formulating for waterless. Let me go from left to right. There is an overall ease in having a product that's not going to stop you in security or leak in your luggage or leak in your gym bag. Ideally, you're thinking about how am I going to make it a lot easier for my consumer? And that's really how waterless trend started. And it's really expanded from that. If you think about the amount of plastic that is floating around in the Pacific Ocean, I think we've all heard about this enormous landmass of plastic. We start thinking about how we can reduce that plastic. And a waterless formula really allows you to do that, right? Because you don't have anything that's going to evaporate from a waterless product. So the package doesn't have to be plastic. It can be compostable, breathable, and minimalist. So thinking about a waterless trend and a waterless formula really does help overall reduction in plastic. The third trend is concentrated. A lot of the consumers are looking to see how they can have a lower cost per use, have more control over how much they're using at a time. And so a more concentrated product with less water or no water allows the consumer to do that. Finally, there's the overall comprehensive water reduction system. The idea that there are products out there that are highly eco-conscious, and they are focused on reduction of water from the manufacturing of the raw material and the packaging all the way through the entire life of the product to the effect of on the water supply as it goes down the drain in the environment. Koster Keunen is a water conscious manufacturer. We use very little to no water in our manufacturing facility. So if you require raw materials from that perspective, we can support you with that. And overall, everything you want to think about with this all fits within sustainability. So if you are looking for some ideas to be more sustainable, the waterless trend fits within that as well. Let's talk a little bit about the formats within the waterless trend. Some of the key factors are bars, which we'll talk a little bit later about, sticks, anhydrous pop bombs and things like that, and powders. And each of these formats can fall into mass market, clean, natural, high end. The list is endless. Couple considerations for the lab bench. When you're thinking about waterless, there's a couple things you want to think about. Waterless formulas need creative structure. So knowing the package ahead of time helps you significantly. So as you're trying to create something, definitely talk to the team that you're working with about what package it's going into. The next thing you should know is that smooth anhydrous bombs that need to be heat stable are really challenging, and scaling them up is hard too. Take beeswax out and then you've exponentially made the product even more trickier to make. We're pretty good at it. So if you have questions or you have any challenges, let us know. We can talk you through some of the biggest challenges and help you out. Now, even though it's anhydrous, it still needs stability. And it needs different kinds of stability testing that you may not automatically think of. Are you making a bar? Let's say you're making a shampoo bar. Okay, well, there's no water in it, so maybe you don't need to worry about certain things. But what happens if somebody drops the bar in the store and it cracks? Did you do a drop test? Did you do a ship test? A lot of times, as we're thinking about putting a cream or a lotion in a jar, nobody's thinking about what happens to the lotion on impact. But a lot of these products, these waterless products with minimal packaging, you need to think about how it's going to survive getting it to the store and then to getting it to your consumer's home. Finally, don't skip preservation. Just keep in mind how the consumer is going to use the product. Are they taking a wet hand and scooping it out of a pot? Is it going to live in their shower? You still need to have preservation, especially if there's going to be water around it. So keep that in mind. Okay, we launched 7 formulas that are all waterless. You can download all of the formulas on kosterkeunen.com/waterless kit. We actually did 2 shampoo bars. We did a standard shampoo bar and we did a vegan shampoo bar. So I guess there's 8. We have a hair conditioning bar. We've done a shave stick that can also be turned into a shave bar, an anhydrous balm face cleanser, a lotion bar, and a shower dough, which is a 3-in-1 shampoo, conditioner, and body wash in one. And you can really make it family friendly and add different colors and sparkle to it. It's a really fun formula. So 2 points left. The next thing we're going to do is talk about the role of wax in soap making. Now, bar soap is coming back into fashion in a big way. Apart from the waterless trend, there's all levels of bars. from clear face cleansing bars to things that are easily transportable to just water reduction entirely. So don't be surprised if you're seeing more and more soap bars. So wax in a soap bar seems counterintuitive, but waxes are higher in saturated fatty acids than oils. So it's good for creating harder bars, creamier lathers, and better cleansing. We've done a full 2-part blog on the role of waxes in chemistry, in bar soap chemistry. So you can find those on our blog. And I just wanted to share with you a couple of important things. So we picked out 6 or 7 different waxes that fit really well into soap making. So the fatty acid profiles of natural waxes make them highly useful and effective ingredients for applications across the spectrum of soap formulation. Waxes have more complex chemistries than other lipids, so choosing wax is key. They are higher in saturated fatty acids than oils, which is good for creating harder bars, creamier lathers, and better cleansing. For example, the high palmitic acid content of cocoa butter lends itself to a creamy lather with high stability. As you can see in this chart, blending into soap systems, waxes provide a wide variety of excellent qualities, from hardness of the bar to the amount and type of lather. If you are involved in making any kind of bar soap and you want to see this full study, just let us know and I will send it over to you. If you're curious and just want to understand what trace and drop swirls are, you can read the first part of our blog. It's just a couple paragraphs and it's super interesting. We also made 4 new formulas in bar soap. We did an artisanal bayberry soap bar. We did an orange and olive soap bar. We did a 3-ingredient minimalistic soap bar. And then we did sustainable bath crayons, which are super fun, not just for kids. You can get those all on our website. And finally, a little tie-up on our sustainable beeswax work. So if you're not aware of our sustainable program, this is a program that's been over 10 years in the making. We understood as a company that there was a lack of education and equipment in these rural areas of West Africa, and that beekeepers didn't know the value of beekeeping. Our program is multifaceted and includes many different programs, from education to pairing beekeepers with farmers and focusing on women in beekeeping. The key points are full transparency in the supply chain, education and support given to the beekeepers, and positive results for the region, including significant increase in food production. Overall, our program aims to improve the lives of the beekeepers, the farmers, and the quality across the area. I'm just going to dive a little bit into this. So our sustainable supply chain reaches over 7 countries. As I mentioned, we have a facility in Togo, West Africa. This is a photo of West Africa, and you can see Togo is smack in the middle of those 7 countries. Now, we have multiple programs running in 7 countries. We have over 37,000 beekeepers in this system. We provide equipment and PPE. We are installing thousands of hives across the region, over 10,000 since the inception of this program. That's billions of bees. And the full program currently supports 400,000 humans in this region. That's a lot. If you think about how big that scope is, it's really important. I'm going to just drill down to one of the programs that we are doing currently. This is in Ghana, and I put an arrow there just because I wanted to make it easy for everybody to kind of catch up on. So we just recently added 22 communities in this area of Ghana, where we supplied equipment and bee suits. Now, we have trained all these people in beekeeping. We have trainers on the ground there, and 72% of the trainees in this area were women. That's really important to us because otherwise women don't have a way to make their own money. We also built 2 processing centers And the impact just in this one little area is going to be more than 50,000 people across the supply chain by 2025. It's a really big deal. So we love seeing their smiling faces, and it's a really beautiful program. If you want to know more about this part of the program or the program in general, we absolutely have full presentations on the transparency of the supply chain, of the work we're doing across the board. Overall, we do say we are all one hive, and this picture is really cool. This is a truck that happens to be in Ghana, helping educate people simply by putting the bumper sticker on their car. These are pollinators. Don't kill the bees. I'm going to thank you all for your time today. If you don't follow us on LinkedIn, please do. We launch anything we're doing on there. And we also have a newsletter, like I mentioned, a blog. We do one study a month. You can sign up for that at kosterkeunen.com. And again, I'm Jessica Dinda. Thank you so much for your time today. If you have any questions, I will stick around to answer them, or you can reach out to me directly or to any of our team. Have a wonderful day.